Commissioner Janet Love. She's back. There's the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Msutu. There's a man who needs no introduction, but I will introduce him because he is the most sleep deprived. His name is Sai Mamabolo. We call him Sai. He's the Chief Electoral Officer. It is not for me to welcome you formally. Someone else is going to do that. Mine is to say, if you need to use the bathrooms, please find an usher and they will be able to guide you there. And, but for this time, I ask you to rise so that we can sing the national anthem, and I ask you to observe the decorum that is befitting of that prayer. Please rise. At this point in time, may I please invite you to observe a moment of silence. Let us gather ourselves so that we can be in the correct place, mentally and spiritually, as we do this work. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Allow me to recognize in our midst the following categories of people from the executive arm of the state. We have the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Njabolo Nzuza. We have Philip Mapolane, Mr. Philip Mapolane is the Deputy Minister in Communications. We have leaders of political parties. We have other members of political parties in our midst. We have the business sector amongst us. We thank you for making the time. We also have amongst us our peers, members from Chapter 9 institutions. Thank you for being here with us. We also time. We have former commissioners amongst us and other former staff members of the Electoral Commission. We have representatives from the civil society sector. We have members of the Demarcation Board. We have members of the faith-based organizations. We also have a contingent of staff from the Electoral Commission, from the Executive Committee to the Management Committee, and to members of staff. It's lovely to have you here, and we hope that your presence will make this ceremony all the better, all the more richer. You're all welcome. I'd like to invite the first speaker, the CEO, and what the CEO is going to do is to give you a synopsis of the state of readiness of the Electoral Commission for the elections that are coming. CEO, it's your turn.
I don't have an iPad. Thank you, Program Director. Chairperson of the Commission, Mr. Mosotho Moepya, members of the Commission, Deputy Minister Njabulo Nzuza, Deputy Minister Phili Mapulane, Deputy Judge President, Gauteng North, Justice Aubrey Ledwaba, former Judge of the Constitutional Court, Justice Johan Krichler, the founding father of our institution, and his lovely wife, Betty Wells, members of the Electoral Court, members of the National Assembly and the NCOP, chairpersons of Chapter 9 and 10 institutions, Your Excellencies, leaders of political parties, former commissioners of the Electoral Commission, Metogo Mpumlwana, Ndate Teritselani, DG in the Presidency, Ms. Pindile Baleni, and members of your delegation, accounting officers in our system of government, distinguished leaders in business, leaders of faith-based organizations, leaders of non-governmental organizations, members of the Diplomatic Corps, General Tommy Mtombeni, representing the South African Police Service, Deputy Chief Electoral Officers, Provincial Electoral Officers, Senior Managers, and all staff of the Commission, members of the media, compatriots. Every 5 years, a duty falls upon the shoulders of other South Africans. This is a duty whose importance transcends all other. This duty is the cornerstone of our democratic reality, the bedrock upon which our political system is built. It is a duty of electing public representatives to the National Assembly and provincial legislatures. These representative bodies will cumulatively guide the course of our national destiny. These legislative bodies hold, therefore, an immense national responsibility to fashion a policy trajectory that fosters national development. To give effect to this constitutionally enshrined duty, which is the heartbeat of our Bill of Rights, the Electoral Commission was created and subsists to this moment. As the Commission, we do understand the depth of our responsibility as an institutional facilitator of those rights which make governance of the country a reality. Alive to the enormity of our national responsibility, we stand here today infused with an indomitable spirit and unshakable determination, ready to embark on the journey of delivering the general elections of national and provincial legislatures next year. We simply refer to these elections as NPE 2024. We are ready to embark on this constitutional journey because of the imminent conclusion of the terms of our current legislatures. The 6th National Assembly and the 9 provincial legislatures' terms of office conclude in the middle of May 2024. A 7th Parliament of the democratic era must be elected within 90 days from that date. Hence, the window period for our national election stretches from May to the middle of August in 2024. The authority for setting the election date rests with the President of the Republic after consulting with the Commission. Those consultations have commenced, but yet to be concluded. A similar framework obtains in respect of provincial legislatures, wherein the provincial premiers are entrusted responsibility to call and set a date of election after consulting with the Commission. We anticipate that, as has been the case in the last 3 decades, that the date of the provincial election will be harmonized with the national election. Today, we, the Electoral Commission, stand before you to confirm that plans to deliver the general elections are underway for the earliest possible election date in the constitutional window period. But let us not forget that NPE 2024 carries a profound historical significance. In 2024, South Africa marks an extraordinary milestone, 30 years of electoral democracy, a testament to the strength and resilience of our nation. Our national credentials as an electoral democracy are fortified with each ensuing election. Surely, 2024 will be no exception. Equally historic is the dawn of a new era in our electoral politics, where where independent candidates can contest for seats in our national and provincial legislatures. A reality set in motion by the Electoral Amendment Act, which was signed into law in April of this year. Needless to say, this change has significantly affected our institution, sparking numerous revisions to our business operations. At the high level, some of the implications of the revisions to the electoral system are as follows. As a novel reality, individuals not affiliated to political parties can stand as candidates for legislatures at both national and provincial level. Our supporting information and communication technology applications have been or are being rewritten anew. This includes the candidate nomination system as well as the results system. The portal for the capturing of supporting signatures for unrepresented parties and independent candidates is ready for deployment. We are eagerly awaiting the outcome of the Constitutional Court's application relating to the quantum of signatures before public release. The Commission has set in motion a comprehensive roadmap or a critical path that underpins our preparations for 2024 elections. We address salient aspects of that plan hereunder. Let's drink water to deal with the tension. Our framework for electoral administration is predicated on the delimitation of voting districts, which are a nucleus for the delivery of electoral services. Necessarily, leading to a general election, voting districts had to be reviewed concomitantly with voting stations. Voting stations must be chosen to facilitate easy access to the communities they serve. Consequent to this review, and with the consultation of municipal party liaison committees, 23,269 voting stations have been determined for NPE 2024. In response to the changing legal landscape around election, as well as the requirement to retain an address of a voter upon registration, the Electoral Commission introduced voter management devices in 2021. The VMD is the technological mainstay for the delivery of the impending elections. There will be a live connection with the majority of voting stations through an access point network. The possibility of a live connection will serve to improve the administrative efficiency of the voting process whilst fortifying the necessary controls. Just under 40,000 VMDs are on hand for use in the forthcoming registration and election events. The elections in the COVID context we had in 2021 provided hard lessons relating to the VMD technology. The challenges experienced in those elections have now been ameliorated through a number of measures, including the upgrading of the operating system and coding a new business applications running on those devices. Given the uneven distribution of data network connectivity across the country, these VMDs are capable of automatically and seamlessly mutating between online and offline modes without disrupting the registration process. To enhance the optimal functionality of these devices, all voting stations will embark on a dry run this coming Saturday, the 28th of October. This dry run will not only serve the technical test, but will also be an opportunity for the registration staff to apply the knowledge and the competencies gained in the training process. This is therefore an investment in the improved quality of the registration process. Registration weekends remain a modality which most afford citizens access to the electoral process. They are a proverbial equalizer of access to the electoral process. Two such opportunities are planned ahead of the impending elections in 2024. The first of this takes place on the 18th and 19th of November 2023. The date for the second registration weekend is subject of consideration by the Commission. Just under 68,000 staff have been recruited and are currently in the final stages of training ahead of the registration weekend. These staff are being taken through a 2-module training and a practical session to ensure that they offer an efficient service to citizens. The number of voting staff will increase to approximately 300,000 by the time of the elections. To enable the registration process to proceed seamlessly, 260 tons worth of registration material and equipment has already been delivered to the 9 provincial warehouses. This material will soon be dispersed to numerous local sites across the country. The current estimate of logistical material to be handled for the election itself is approximately 610 tons, excluding ballot papers. Given the ever-growing penetration of mobile devices in the ordinary course of social and political discourse, the Electoral Commission has launched an online registration portal in 2021. To date, just over 1 million transactions has been processed through the portal, of which 439,000 are new registrations, whilst the balance are re-registrations. As we predicted, the majority of new registrations on the portal are young persons in the age category 20 to 25. And the use of the portal is not different during the day and in the evening. So there's a fair distribution of accessing the portal during the day and in the evening hours. We believe that the portal offers citizens a convenient avenue to enlist on the voter's roll. Of course, we acknowledge a constraint relating to data costs for a significant proportion of society. In this regard, we are engaging with telecommunications company to examine possibilities of zero-rating this online facility ahead of the elections. Currently, the voters' roll stands at 26.2 million people. Of this, 95% have a complete address recorded against their name. Women have a greater representation on the voters' roll at 14.4 million against men whose representation is 11.6 million. The age category with the highest representation is 30 to 39 years, with 6.6 million voters. That is followed by the age category 40 to 49 at 5.8 million. And then the age category 50 to 59 at 4.4 million. Young persons in the age category 20 to 29 account for 3.7 million voters on the roll. An election is not just a legal and logistical enterprise. It is undoubtedly also an encounter with the citizens of the country. The Commission has engaged just under 2,500 field workers consisting of municipal outreach coordinators as well as democracy education facilitators. This category of staff is charged with the responsibility of delivering civic education in communities in the language spoken in the relevant locality. We target 80,000 community events by the time of the elections. Such community engagement will necessarily mutate into voter and balloting education in tandem with the electoral timelines. To ensure that we reach out to the much needed youth, we have once again developed content for the use on digital platforms, including a series of animation videos, audio recordings, social media toolkits, infographics, and fact sheets. The content will be placed on different social media platforms to specifically target young voters online. Some elements in the mix of our voter education content will find expression on both radio and television. Our newly revamped official WhatsApp chat box will soon be integrated into our contact center, which will enable voters to speak directly to an agent in real time. Various voter education resources and information are available on this platform and will be regularly updated. Before we leave, let's just text hi to this WhatsApp number 0600 880000. You'll be a recipient of amazing voter education. Text hi on WhatsApp number 0600 880000. In the modern day electoral landscape, it is no longer enough to master the legal and operational aspects of an election. Various digital harms, including disinformation and misinformation on social media, holds the possibility to vitiate the credibility of an election. In an endeavor to ameliorate such possible digital harms, the Commission has partnered with social media platforms, Meta, TikTok, Google, and Media Monitoring Africa to cooperate on a framework which expeditiously investigates complaints through the Real 411 platform. This framework allows for the evaluation of social media complaints by a committee of experts, and where veracity is established, to then refer to platforms for possible removals or such other interventions as may be necessary. To reiterate, the Electoral Commission is resolute and gearing up to conduct the 2024 national and provincial elections. We urge all South Africans to use our online portal to register, to check and update their details, and to participate actively in this pivotal democratic process. Otherwise, we urge citizens to visit voting stations on the 18th and 19th of November. We call upon all stakeholders to stand united with us to deliver the 2024 general elections. These elections will be a testament to the strength of our democracy and a celebration of our collective national being. We dare not fail. This is your democracy. Own it. Ke a leboga.
Thank you very much, CEO. You may not have an iPad, but you certainly have other assets that compensate adequately for that said absence. Thank you very much. I hope you've already sent your highs to the WhatsApp number 060-088-0000. And we can talk about your experiences afterwards. At this point in time, allow me to invite the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission to make his remarks. Mr. Msutu Miepio.
Program Director and colleague, Dr. Nomsa Masuku, from the outset, let me ask you to permit me to acknowledge and stand by the protocol as eloquently established by the Chief Electoral Officer before me. Kindly also permit me to express the Electoral Commission's delight and pleasure in welcoming all of our guests here in person, those that are watching us on television and those that are listening to us on radio. This launch is a very special one for us and this nation. As you will no doubt agree with me, no one general election is the same as another. Today, we gather here on a momentous occasion, the launch of our National and Provincial Elections 2024. This is an election of particular significance, not only because it marks another step in our democratic journey, but also because It takes place in a year when our beloved South African democracy celebrates its 30th birthday. By all accounts, ours is a nascent and yet one of the significant democracies the world over. In this regard, we have attracted the attention of the world for good reason. Among others, South Africa's performance, as rated by the Electoral Integrity Report 2023, which deploys a concept known as the perceptions of electoral integrity data set, and uses data drawn from a rolling survey of over 4,700 experts' assessments on electoral integrity across over 497 countries, elections and 169 countries around the world, places us as South Africa among the cream of the crop in terms of countries measured, even as we score together with those that are in the 75% band and more. This is by no means insignificant. Even more importantly, South Africa's own electoral integrity performance rates higher than the average standard achieved within any region of the world. I say so because the area mean for all of the regions of the world, compared to that which South Africa has attained, we appear to do exceptionally well. South Africa scores at 69 points, where the area mean in Africa is 44. In the Americas, that mean stands at 60. In Asia, at 52. In Europe, at 67. In Oceania, at 59. This is not us saying it. This is how the world scores us, independently and objectively. While this picture is one that must make South Africa justifiably proud, we at the Electoral Commission know that it is one against which we must beat ourselves at every election. It is one that we cannot dare fail to accomplish. It will not be easy, but we launch the National and Provincial Elections 2024 program with this clearly etched in our minds. The Electoral Commission of South Africa is also approaching these upcoming elections with immense pride and a profound sense of responsibility. This is so because our electoral democracy has come a long way since those historic elections in 1994, when millions of South Africans cast their votes for the very first time. While it is essential that we recognize these remarkable achievements of the past 3 decades, it is necessary for us to embrace the challenges that lie before us. Looking back at those 30 years, we have seen a peaceful transfer of power through the power of the ballot, using the universal franchise, which was captured in the somewhat gender-insensitive slogan, "One man, one vote." In that process, we have built a society founded on principles of freedom, democracy, and human rights. We have created a nation that stood as a beacon of hope on the African continent and in the world. Our transition is often mentioned as a miracle, and yet we know what it took to get it done. We dare not forget and betray that resolve, nor the sacrifices that were made to get us to this point. We must not falter. We must squarely face the reality that we face. We have much to count on in our favor at this time. We have an electoral democracy that is underpinned by one of the undisputably most progressive constitutions of its time. A vibrant civil society, a free press, an independent judiciary, and a citizenry that historically took its responsibility for its right to vote and did everything it could to jealously guard that role. While we have no doubt faced many obstacles in the process, our short history as a democracy has nevertheless taught us that we must never shy away from confronting obstacles before us, even as we seek to succeed in our endeavors. For us at the Commission, this resolve is clear, and it is one that is mindfully etched on our thoughts, even as we launch today. Compatriots, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for the National and Provincial Elections 2024, let us not only look back, but also look forward. Let us recognize that the journey ahead is even more important than the path we have already traveled. To ensure that our electoral democracy remains strong and vibrant for the next 30 years and beyond, we must commit ourselves to several key principles and actions. In this regard, I wish to point out the following in particular. One, we must ensure that our elections consistently improve in the manner that they are administered and uphold the progressive standards set out for elections to be credible, free and fair, universally around the globe. There is a significant part of this responsibility that lies on the shoulders of the Electoral Commission, and I'm pleased to unequivocally state that we at the Commission are not shying away from this challenge. Even so, we remain mindful of the fact that elections are not just about those who administer them and those who contest in them. They are about us recognizing that in order for the national and provincial elections in 2024 to meet the high expectations that South Africans hold at a time such as this, we will need every citizen and every resident to play their civic duty. This is a call for all hands on deck. Secondly, we will need to have political parties and candidates carefully draft and present their respective policy and service offerings that they seek to affirm a prosperous South Africa in which citizens are adorned with a badge of human dignity. In this regard, we must all be mindful that for voters to have an opportunity to access the myriad of services and choices being put before them, this must happen in an environment where they can freely be accessed and freely get that information. This is an important part of our preparations and one that calls on all of us to work at it intentionally. Thirdly, we will need a civil society that is engaged to encourage voter registration and participation. A civil society that will truly bind communities together for a common good and mindful purpose to contribute to the success of these elections through disseminating information that is pertinent at all times in observing these elections and playing their rightful watchdog role. Fourthly, we will need a media that is always, or that will always be the mainstay of information that all of us so desperately need. Information that is informed and non-partisan. Information that is vigilant and carefully verified. Information that neither seeks to inform nor contribute to digital harms that are aimed at impairing the very credibility of the elections we so desperately need. Fifthly, we will need women and men of good stature. Men and women who are fit and proper and trusted in their communities to step forward and be counted among those who will need to be part of our conflict resolution panels, which we will shortly be establishing throughout the country. those who will serve selflessly, every one of us, even as we exercise our right to vote. This is the blood stream that is important in the work that we will need. Sixthly, we will need to work closely with all organs of state to realize an election that all of us can be proud of, because our citizens have expressed their votes in a way that reflects the proverbial will of the people. An election outcome is not good if it does not reflect this will. This is the resolve that transparency plays, and we at the Commission will spare no measure to attain it. Seventhly, for the NPE 2024, the National and Provincial Elections, as we call them, NPE 2024, to succeed, we will need business and organized labor to unite around a common purpose, a purpose that finds expression in the adage and a quote, "Divided we fall, and united we stand," I close quote. This is absolutely necessary. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, there are many other considerations we need to bear in mind as we go into the National and Provincial Elections 2024. I will not try to go out and try and list each one of them on this occasion. However, what every election practitioner will tell you, as I hereby do, is that in elections, time is never lost in the final stages or at the end. It is lost right at the beginning. Through this launch, we are mindful that the beginning of the countdown to an election has begun, and we are approaching every step of this preparation, and we wish for that spirit to remain continuously throughout the execution of every phase of this election. As you have heard from the Chief Electoral Officer in his State of Readiness address, this journey is well underway and in very exceptional hands. Let us all embrace it. The National and Provincial Elections 2024 offers a unique opportunity and marks the first time independent candidates will be able to contest seats in our national and provincial legislatures. This change underscores the importance of inclusivity and diversity in our democracy. It is our duty to ensure that this change is widely and well understood, and that it is fully embraced and executed. As you may be aware, with every change, there are often issues that may require legal clarity. This is true for the legal scheme ushered by the Electoral Amendment Act 2023. Where clarity is sought, let us be bold and use lawful means to obtain the needed clarity in a time window that will enable us to conduct elections we can all be proud of. In this regard, we all need to exercise patience to allow the judicial authorities the time they need to apply themselves on matters before them, and to give us their best determinations and to embrace them and move on when that is done. Almost everyone we have come across has expressed a view that the National and Provincial Elections 2024 will be a complex undertaking. We do not hold a different view. From now henceforth, the Commission will continue to strengthen civic and voter education initiatives to ensure that voters are fully informed about their roles and responsibilities in the upcoming elections. This is critical because an informed electorate is the bedrock of any thriving democracy. On behalf of the Commission, I call on each one of us to remain committed to the principles of accountability and transparency. South Africa's journey towards a more perfect democracy is not one that is finished. It remains a work in progress, and it relies on the dedication of leaders, of institutions, and of citizens who will uphold the rule of law and good governance. Let us move forward with hope and determination, knowing that the next 30 years will be filled with opportunities for growth, for unity, and for progress. Together as South Africans, we can ensure that our electoral democracy carries a promise for all South Africa's people and a shining example to the world. In the last 2 weeks, our rugby team has reminded us of who we truly are, a nation that is capable of fighting a good fight, right to the end. We are a resilient people, a rainbow nation, as we have become known to the world. We may not all be here. The Bokes may be in France, and to them we say, Boke, our thoughts are with you, now until Saturday night. Bring it back home. That is the spirit we all have as South Africans. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, South Africa is a precious country. We all owe it to one another to preserve and leave that legacy for generations to come. Elections 2024 provide us that opportunity. As I close, let me reiterate what our national anthem says. May God bless South Africa and her people at a time such as this. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I must tell you, I was a bit nervous. He's got a laryngitis, but his voice held right to the end and he started cracking. I thank you, Chair. Thank you. When I opened these proceedings, I did not recognize the media. The media, I see you. I thank you. I am grateful for you. The CEO did correct the omission there. To the audience, you enjoyed the choir, but I didn't tell you who that choir was. It's the Tshwane University of Technology. It's a choir from the Tshwane University of Technology, and you owe them a clap. Just a little bit more enthusiasm, please. That is more like it. Thank you. We come to the point where we do the fun part. Okay, and the fun part is, for every election, we need a logo. We're South Africans, remember? Okay, we need a logo, we need a theme. Otherwise, what are we going to put on our t-shirts? How will you know how to coordinate what we're wearing? We need a logo and we need a theme. So, the time has come for us to reveal to you the theme and the logo of election 2024. And as we do so, I'm going to ask the commissioners behind me to please vacate their seats so that they can actually see what the logo looks like and what the theme looks like. And they should look sufficiently surprised, please. Thank you very much. Okay, let us get ready. Okay, at this point in time, I'm going to invite the CEO to do the honors introducing the reveal. CEO, here we go. iPad or no iPad, the time has come.
These are the considerations that underpin the campaign message and the campaign logo. South Africans are confronted daily with negative news across different platforms. Some citizens have hope, while others have accepted that things are not changing. But the youth seem unaffected by the negativity. Instead, they speak up and make their opinions heard. We see it on social media daily, where young people are challenging our politics, our traditions, our culture, and the status quo. The youth understand more than anyone else that they were born into a democratic country where their opinions matter and where they are capable of taking charge of matters that affect their future. This presents an ideal opportunity for the Electoral Commission to clarify its mandate insofar as it relates to its role to deliver 2024 elections. The hopeless attitudes that may have paralyzed some South Africans can be reversed by empowering them with reasons to believe in the importance of taking part in the elections. To convince citizens, especially young persons, to take charge, we intend reminding them that this democracy belongs to them and inviting them to take ownership of it as responsible citizens. We therefore say, it's your democracy, own it.
For the freedom to dream big and become a hero, show up and register.
Like I tell my learners, if you want to be an agent of progress, register to vote in the South African 2024 elections.
From Limpopo to the world and back, Reayakadi 18 akir, register.
A lasting legacy connects each generation with their rights to express themselves. Balisa.
Gestreer waar jy is of waar jy bly.
It's your democracy.
Own it.
It's your democracy. Own it.
For the freedom to dream big and become a hero, show up and register.
Like I tell my learners, if you want to be an agent of progress, register to vote in the South African 2024 elections.
From Limpopo to the world and back, Reayakadi 18 akir, register.
A lasting legacy connects each generation with their rights to express themselves. Balisa.
Gestreer waar jy is of waar jy bly.
It's your democracy.
Own it.
It's your democracy. Own it.
A round of applause. I saw a little bit of inspiration somewhere, but you just stopped short of joining. I should have said you're free to break a leg. Thank you very much to the choir. At this point in time, I am going to allow the team, we've queued just a message for you. Do you know what the logo is? Yeah, it's here. That's the logo. Do you know what the theme is? It's your? What must you do with it? It's your? What must you do with it? Uh-huh. Okay, simple. It's your democracy. Own it. Okay. Ready? Mawetu? Mawetu?
A lot has changed in 30 years. So our democracy has to grow to keep up. And it has. The election process has changed, giving voters more choice. Independents will contest alongside political parties on the regional and provincial ballots. And you will get 3 ballots when you vote in general elections. Elections will be more secure because you can only vote where you are registered unless you apply in advance to vote elsewhere. And more convenient for overseas voters. You no longer have to apply in advance when voting at the foreign mission where you're registered. Don't be left behind. Register and then vote. It's your democracy. Own it. For more information, go to www.elections.org.za. Find us on social media at IEC South Africa. Or WhatsApp hi to 0600 88 0000.
Thank you very much. May I please invite Commissioner Diapile to do the closing remarks, please.
Thank you, Dr. Masuku. And thank you, all of you, for joining us here today and for taking time from your routines and supporting us with your presence. I also want to thank you in anticipation of your ongoing support for and defense of democracy. In this regard, let me share with you some of the tips I picked up from my recent readings. This book, How Democracies Die, is a toolkit of tips for assessing the strength of democracy. Tip 1, rules written into constitutions and legislation govern democracy, but it's the unwritten rules and the effective norms that hold democracy together. Tip number 2, about toleration. Toleration is recognition and acceptance of difference, of agreeing to disagree, and of respecting the opposition as partners in making democracy work. Political rivals are not subversive enemies. Tip number 3, it's about institutional forbearance. This means restraint in exercising a legal right. It is the opposite of constitutional hardball, where parties, candidates engage in combat to permanently defeat the opposition. And putting all this together, quite simply, what this means is that in the forthcoming elections, NPE 2024, it's going to take a lot of grit, a lot of determination, considerable common purpose and reciprocity to manage and deliver elections that would be free, fair, and inclusive. And this is so, as you've heard, given the particular complexities of the forthcoming election. There's going to be new rules, and we're going to have to manage that as best we can. Remember, 1994, we didn't even have a voter's roll to speak of. But lastly, as we anxiously await the judgment of the Constitutional Court, we want to thank that court for delivering the judgment in good time so that we are able to deliver a free and fair elections. And finally, our CFO and our CEO have been cooking, not the books, because you know that we've got a clean audit again. And if you want, thank you. They have been cooking lunch, so if you can use the time between now to just network and chat and inspire us to be better than we are. Lunch will be ready in about 45 minutes' time, and you are all invited to join us there. So thank you very much once again for your attendance and your support. Have a good lunch.
Thank you very much,
The election process
Judge.
has changed.
Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of the ceremony. We always try and keep it short and sweet because we want our economy to thrive. Have a wonderful mingling, and we will meet outside this room. Ushers, please help our guests to get to the lunch venue.